Now, because we've learned to put we've got a new texture too, isn't that like nice, bright and blue? Anyway, just to help my eyes on the computer looking at thumbnails, trying to know what I've put up and what I haven't. And I'm going to try and keep these shorter because I know you've all got the attention spans of a chocolate mouse. So this one, inheritance, is basically what your first part of your Chinese zodiac is. The 60 years. In February, we're heading into the fire horse as we end the year of the snake, which is all about shedding, which the world is shedding in a normal way. But the grand solar cycle is 60 years. 5 runs through the 12 Chinese symbols. And the first 12 years is basically, well, it's your inheritance, and a lot of that you don't even know what you've inherited. A lot of that's in your DNA. A lot of that's in the unresolved trauma of your parents or your caregivers. How your interactions are at school. There's all that early learning of the basic learning to walk and talk, and if you've been blessed enough, and I might bag the education system, but and it's pathetic compared to where it was, but gee, what a blessing to be taught to read and write and do maths. That alone, when you go around the world, is you noticed what an advantage that is. So certainly no qualm with my Rothschilds, Rockefeller, education. But the things you've inherited, and a lot of it's in your DNA. It is genetic things that are unresolved issues from previous lifetimes that are in your genetic bloodline. You're not aware of any of these inheritances, and often not till some in your second cycle, and they keep unfolding like an onion ring. And even when you feel like you've done some, there will be another layer to that process. So you're really not really in control of those first 10 years. I know for mine it was a bit, I certainly had quite a normal childhood until my father dropped dead when he was 42 and I was 10. So, the latter part of my first one involved great change. And there was plenty more of that to come on into the second chapter. But even that happening, in that first chapter, there was still, that created its own, traumatic responses that kept showing themselves for years and years, And now I sit very much at peace with my dad's passing and what his legacy was, and what he achieved, and what he set up for me, and the appreciation I have. But there's a whole long process in that. But inheritance, you will learn more, and we'll probably redabble under it as we go through each of the chapters. A lot of inheritance is just things that are to do with motor neuron system, and just fitting in socially and growing your natural human growth cycle. So it does get interesting, a little more interesting in phase 2, and phase 3, that's when it really happens. Till next time, peace.